Hey everybody, welcome to Q&A video number 42. Make sure to keep asking questions, doesn't matter what they're about, they can be about anything. Just know that I don't respond to review requests or Let's Play requests in these videos, but I will respond to them in the comments. You can post your questions in the comments below, you can send them to me via PM, or you can put them in the appropriate section of the forums or on my Steam group. There's a discussion topic available for that. The gameplay in the background is of Wargame European Escalation. Been playing that recently, and it's kind of interesting, so yeah. Anyway, we're going to start with a question from the Raz18. Did you think about also uploading just the audio as a kind of podcast? Not really. I never really think of podcasting because I don't have any devices that are typically considered good for podcasts. And I don't generally listen to or sometimes even watch podcasts. It's just something I don't do for some reason. So I never think about it. So I wasn't aware people would think that anything like that would be handy or anything. I don't know. But, I mean, if you want just a podcast kind of thing, I suppose you could always just have the video going in the background and just not watch it and just listen to the audio, but anyway. No, I generally just think of putting things up on YouTube, and that's about it. Next one is from Omega Wolf Studios 8. Do you think that the people who say that mobile and social gaming is the future are correct, or are they just like the people who said motion gaming is the future? And we both know what happened to motion gaming. It turned out that motion gaming did not take over, but carve out its own niche. Actually, yeah, they're pretty much saying the truth there. And I say that because not that many people have time for actually sitting in front of a console or a PC and just playing games. They don't really have time for that. They don't want anything really intensive that would require them to put much effort into it. And so a lot of people just go with stuff like Angry Birds. And it's that simple. Unfortunately, that market's getting flooded, so I get the feeling that people are going to get kind of fed up with it. And the thing about each of these new trends, there's a period where the trend goes completely off the walls and there's just tons and tons of stuff in it. And then people get very tired of that, and it just kind of levels out. So I get the feeling that it's going to become its own niche eventually, but right now it's just the market for them is just enormous. So we'll see. I do think it's currently the future, but hopefully they don't screw things up and screw over the rest of us who are actually core gamers and so on and so forth. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't own an iPhone. I don't own an iPad. I don't own an Android device. I just don't own any of those because I don't need them. My cell phone is perfectly normal, so yeah. Anyway, next one is from Shoeboy05. What do you think about the use of novels to explain the backstory of a game? I'm well aware that people don't like it when an unexplained plot point is only explained within the novel, which must be purchased separately, when said plot hole should have been explained within the game. That is extremely annoying. I hate it when games do that. And this is a problem I notice a lot with Halo. People act like the story of that game is amazing, and it's really terrible. It's just humanish super soldier fights aliens. End of story. That's literally all that Halo is, if you play the games. If you go into the books, then they decide to explore some other things, but ultimately, when people are sitting there telling me all this stuff, oh, you have to read the books to understand so-and-so, then the game has failed. It's that simple. It has failed at delivering a narrative. And if it has to be explained in a book, then the narrative of the game has failed, and the books are really not worth my time, to be honest with you. I really find that it's very annoying when they explain things that are necessary to understand what's going on in books. Unless it started out as a book series to begin with, and then they just adapted games from it. That's fine, don't get me wrong. It's like Game of Thrones, for instance. If you've read the Song of Ice and Fire books, then that provides a ton of stuff for when you actually play the Game of Thrones games or watch the show or something like that. And that's fine. But whenever they just make the story, okay, we'll just throw that in a book and make people buy that, then that's extremely annoying, and I hate it when they do that, and they should never do that. Next one is from Serious Hedgehog Co. Hey DW, do you think weapon limits in sci-fi shooters is kind of stupid, considering that most of the weapons feel different, such as a Bulletstorm and Halo, even though you don't like the series? Well, that's a weird coincidence. Because saying weapon limits in sci-fi shooters is kind of stupid. It doesn't really matter. It's in any game. It doesn't really matter. The question is, why is that weapon limit there? If it's in the case of, say, Battlefield, then you get a certain loadout and your character has a primary weapon and a secondary weapon. Okay, that's fine. That's just how they've set that up, whatever. If you are playing something like Halo, where you get 2 weapons just regardless, and you just pick them up as you go along or something like that, that's there for logistical reasons. Try getting through a long list of weapons on a console. Just good luck. You're going to need it, because it's going to take you a long time to cycle through all that stuff manually. PC doesn't have that problem. We can just tap a number key and boom, we've got our weapon. And so when you go to console, you have to have something that limits the amount of weapons you've got. Otherwise, it's just a nightmare for the controller. It's not really a nightmare, but it's really awkward having to cycle through a whole list of weapons, and when you can just switch between 2. And that allows you to specialize as well, so that helps. But say you pick up one weapon that's for long range and one for short range or something like that. So, is it stupid? Not really. It just depends on what they're going for. If it's something like Duke Nukem, where it's just balls-to-the-wall action and you're supposed to be this super badass and carrying tons of really cool weapons and stuff like that, then yes, it is stupid to impose a weapon limit on there. If it's something where it's just there because it is primarily a console game, or it doesn't make sense for you to be having tons and tons of weapons, then that's fine. It's fine. Like in Halo, do you really expect people to... Why would you expect Master Chief to carry around like 40 different guns or something like that? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Anyway. Next one is from Rip Out Your Prejudice. With the rise of the on-demand generation that we're currently witnessing in the form of the modern internet, do you think that modern television will gradually die and only necessary news channels will still remain relevant? Yep, pretty much. You'll especially see it with the pay-for networks like HBO, where they really have to adapt their model or they'll just cease to be, really. It's kind of unfortunate because HBO does put out some good stuff sometimes, but anyway. Currently, TV just kind of sucks. Now, it may be different depending on where you live. Like, BBC is certainly pretty decent, actually. But if you live in the States, then good luck finding good programming, because most of it's going to be reality shows, and they all suck. Or really awful sitcoms, which there are a lot of them. But, will current TV die out eventually? Probably. You'll see it change to an online model or something like that. If they want to survive. If they don't want to survive and just want to cling to their archaic ways, then, well, feel free. I guess they'll just cease to be eventually. The problem I have with current TV is just that it's terrible and that there's really no reason to watch it, which is why more people go to the internet, because there's actually stuff you can watch on there that's kind of cool and stuff like that. Anyway. That was Q&A 42, and I will catch you guys in later videos.